Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot and a member of the PMDG 737 tech team. In today's video let's discuss one of the most requested features of the new PMDG 737, and that is obviously the Route 2. So PMDG have added the Route 2 to the 737's FMC with the Flight Simulator 2024 update, but what exactly do we even use that feature for? Well, let's go over a couple of use cases in today's video, and I can give you one straight answer straight away. You will probably be disappointed, because we don't actually use it all that much. The 737 is not an Airbus, and we do use Route 2 rather differently than the secondary flight plan in an Airbus. So let's get started with this. So as we're flying along, obviously there could be an idea that you may want to program a route to any suitable en route alternate airport. While that is certainly something that we would do on a long-haul flight, we typically don't really fly long-haul with the 737. So while that is something that you could do, it is not something that you would do. But what would we do then? Well, the 737 is an airplane that is mostly used for very short flights, at least in terms of what other aircraft can do. So the 737 typically used on short-haul operation, sometimes medium-haul operation, but in any case it will have short ground times, and this is where Route 2 can really help you out. So provided that you do not need Route 2 for anything in flight, and we will talk about some reasons why you may want to use it in flight in a few moments, but provided that you do not want to use it in flight, we would normally use it to program our next upcoming flight in the previous sector already. So how are we going to do that? Well, first things first, obviously you need to know what you are going to fly. So right now we're en route from Milano to Warsaw Modlin in this lovely bus, Boeing 737-800, and we know that we're going to fly on to Eindhoven because, well, it's Ryanair. You are always going to fly 4 sectors a day, sometimes 6. Now, we only have 25 minutes of turnaround time, and programming the route takes about 1 minute. Therefore, to have 1 more minute available, for example to be able to go to the toilet at all in a 25-minute turnaround, we would program the upcoming flight in Route 2 already. So the FCOM dictates that on the first flight of the day we are always operating on Route 1, and generally when we go to the lags page you can see we're on active Route 1 lags, and on the route page you can also see active Route 1. So when we want to program our next flight, we would click on the Route 2 button, go to the first page over here, and then we start programming. Note that you should not do a flight plan uplink when you do this, and note that you also must not change the flight number in the FMC. The reason for this is that the FMC only has a single call sign facility, so if you change the call sign over here, you are automatically also changing it on the active flight, and therefore your call sign is going to change on the display of the air traffic controller. You don't want that. For that reason, cannot enter the call sign in Route 2. So down here, we are simply going to program the second route as if this was a very normal flight. Now, unfortunately the EFB cannot show you any future flight plans, but there is a small cheat that you can use in Flight Simulator. So provided that you're en route and you have already programmed SimBrief for your next flight, then you can simply use the FS internal EFB. You go to the SimBrief dispatch option, and as you can see, suddenly, while you still retain the original first flight in your EFB, you do get the new one in your 2D tablet in Flight Simulator. So down here we can now start programming. So we are going to go from Echo Papa Mike Oscar, and we are going to fly towards Echo Hotel, like this. Now let's go to departure and arrival. Down here on Route 2 we can now select whatever we want. So departing runway 26, and it's going to be the Olila for Juliet departure. Then we go to route, Next page, and now we can start programming. So direct to Mabif, then direct to Relab, direct, or rather Lima 621 towards Somor. Then we go on, direct Tadak, and so on, and so on, and so on. And like that you can program the complete route of the upcoming flight in route 2, while the airplane keeps flying on the active route number 1. So that is what we would do in 99.9% of the cases with route number 2. And this is really the only thing that we would normally use it for during a typical flight. There is one exception though, and that exception is when you are not sure of the arrival that you're expecting at your destination airport, and there is a certain chance that you might have to fly an RNAV approach into your destination of the current flight. So as you can see now, I have programmed the complete route 2. We can even go to the flight plan, and you could already check it down here. So you could really go over about everything that would be important for that particular other flight. As you can see, completely programmed. Here it is, everything. So really useful stuff. Now, there is only one problem. We're currently inbound to Modlin, and Modlin only has an ILS approach on runway 08, and they have an RNAV approach on runway 26. The wind is pretty much cross, and we do not know 100% sure which arrival we are going to expect over there, and ATC doesn't know at the moment as well. It could change any moment. So we're expecting to land on runway 08 at the moment, because that's the one with the ILS, and that is the one that has the straight-in approach available. So down here in our FMS, we have now programmed runway 08. Okay, so far so good. So we could do the entire approach preparation, we go over everything, and when we contact the approach controller, they're going to tell us expect the RMP approach runway 26. Alright, this is a situation which is likely to happen today. We do not know for sure, and if we run the full procedures to prepare an RNAV approach at the moment when we contact the approach controller, we are going to be busy from the moment they tell us the runway all the way to touchdown, because we will simply not have enough time available to carry out the entire procedure. And that could obviously be a little bit of a problem that you can mitigate using route 2. So let's go ahead and actually have a look into the second use case that the route 2 feature actually has. Likewise, by the way, if you have previously programmed your second sector in route 2 and you're now flying on the active route 2, so let's say we were already on the second leg and now we are flying on this route, then the same would obviously apply to route 1. You are simply using the other route that you have available for this purpose. So when I'm referring to route 2 over here, then it always means the second route that you have available, not necessarily route 2. So if you're flying active route 2, then route 1 would be used for this. So let's go ahead and have a look into the second use case. And that is especially true for RNAV approaches, not so much for an ILS, because an ILS is very easy to set up. Frequencies, courses, minimums, and then just check the final approach fix and the glide slope angle and the missed approach in the FMC. That's done quickly. But today, we're inbound to Modlin. If we have a look at the weather over in Modlin, we can see it's negative temperatures, so cold temperature corrections will be required. The wind, very light, so might be runway 08, looks like it right now, but the next weather update could already tell the opposite. So what we can do in this case is, first of all, when we are on our active route page, and on the first page we got the route copy button. When we do this, it's going to override what I've just programmed in route 2. So right now I've got this. Well, if I copy my active route You can see it has completely overwritten and therefore deleted what I had previously stored. Now, we can go back to departures arrivals, and down here on route 2, we could already enter the RNAV approach, runway 26, with our star. Now, let's go ahead and have a look at what we've just inserted. And now we can do the entire cold temperature corrections. And we can check the entire route, which means every single one waypoint, every single one track and distance. Basically the stupid stuff that the standard operating procedure will require you to do. And you can see this is quite a long arrival from Gogos. So now we can go ahead and we can go over the entire thing. Like, okay, we got Gogos at below level 170, maximum 280 knots. We continue to GPOS below level 120 and level 140. We continue Falney to Adoxo to Bimpa, maximum 220 knots. Then we continue to Cookson. Now you can see this is the active route, the magenta one, and the blue one is our route 2. Do note that the missed approach of the currently active flight plan is also showing in blue, which is why this looks a little bit strange. So here's the missed approach of route 2, here's the missed approach of route 1. So that way we can go over the entire thing. We can now already cross-check all the figures. We can cross-check our approach itself, like down here. Okay, starting Mike Oscar 998, 3,000 feet. We've got a 3.5 degree glide slope, and the missed approach is going via blah blah blah. Basically, we can go over the entire thing. The advantage of doing this, and this is really only worth it when you are planning an RNAV approach, otherwise it's a lot better to program your next sector and save time during the turnaround. Because I really mean it. In 25 minutes turnaround you don't even have time to go to the toilet. The moment you do that, you already are generating delay. And you don't want that, do you? So, the best use for route 2 is to program the next upcoming flight, because the inactive route is not going to be deleted after the airplane touches down and lands. Only the active route is deleted. The inactive one is capped. And therefore you can simply shorten the turnaround time. But if an RNAV approach is a possibility, you don't know for sure, then do use route 2 to cross-check all the tracks and distances and insert your cold temperature corrections, whatever may be required. That's the only other use that route 2 really has for practical operations in the aircraft. Well guys, and that's everything there is to it. Now, a small comment over here if you want to change the active route. So, we're currently flying on route number 1, we're in Mount Lanux. Let's say we now get ATC information that we can indeed expect the RNAV approach. So then we want to activate that route. And you will see that when I do this, activate, execute, it doesn't let me. It tells me select active waypoint and lag, and disengages LNAV. So that is really something that can catch you. Some airplanes, by the way, depending on the logic and the FMC version that's installed, would not even let you activate the route. They would just say select heading mode. So now, as you can see, LNAV disengages. We gotta tell the airplane where we want to go. As you can see, it tells us up here, Lanux is the next waypoint on route 2, but doesn't know which track to fly to get there. So the route starts over there. If you want to use LNAV straight away, which you do want to do, then just double click that waypoint. The first click inserts it into the scratchpad, the second one generates it direct to that waypoint. Press execute, and now you can engage LNAV once again. And that's how you can do this. Alright, and that is really everything there is in regards to route 2. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this one interesting. Let me know how you like the feature, and always remember that when you go over to make route 2 active, you also have to manually select it on the other FMC. Don't see, the other one stays on route 1. You have to actively switch it over to route 2 as well. So there's a little potential to accidentally hit activate on the offside FMC and then get yourself into trouble. Don't want to do that, so be careful. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. That's pretty much everything I got for you on the topic. Do let me know your opinion in the comments underneath the video. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.